Hello and welcome back. Now that you're here, I'd like to talk about Panda, who just like Toge has been completely shafted by Gege and made unfit to guide the plot. But despite the current state of Jujutsu Kaisen's goofy, chill teddy bear, I'd still like to discuss his strong points and hopefully convince you that he's not as low tier as many might claim he is. I'd like to hear your thoughts on Panda in the comments, but for now, let's get into it. Panda is the greatest creation of Principal Yaga, who has the intelligence feats to be firmly placed as the most intelligent and knowledgeable staff member of Jujutsu High. Even Yuki Tsukumo's book on the soul doesn't stack up to Yaga's ability to replicate soul memory. Yaga's cursed courses aren't even a product of his curse technique, in fact. Anyone with the proper knowledge can create the puppets. And chapter 147 is completely dedicated to this fact. Yaga is able to explain the process to Gakuganji completely, and then Gakuganji responds by questioning why he didn't explain sooner, meaning that they would have allowed him to live in that case, which debunks the possibility that the creation of self-sustaining puppets is exclusive to him, because in that case they still would have killed him. Essentially, any cursed corpse user could recreate Panda with Gakuganji's knowledge now, meaning that engineering Panda and the other cursed corpses that live under Tengen's protection is a pure IQ feat for Yaga, who, according to the official fan book, is one of the only people who can truly understand Satoru Gojo, which speaks to both his raw intelligence and also emotional intelligence, which is relevant due to the emotional nature of Jujutsu and cursed energy. Panda is actually confirmed to be living proof that Yaga should be labeled a special grade. The higher-ups tried placing restrictions on him, but Yaga's lies and Gojo's protection held them off until Gojo was sealed. In other words, even though Panda conceals at least 1/3 of his power at all times, the higher-ups still believe that mass-producing creatures like him would be enough to rank Yaga among the special grades by IQ alone. We see characters like Yuta kill hundreds of curses all at once, so it's practically impossible to overcome a special grade with numbers alone, meaning that Panda's individual strength is acknowledged by all of Jujutsu society, even when suppressed with no actual innate curse technique. The higher-ups weren't wrong to acknowledge the threat Panda poses to Jujutsu society. Panda is a highly intelligent character. Panda has been educated directly by Yaga for the majority of his life, and he has proven himself to be very clever and tricky. Panda's strategy in reaching Suguru Geto impressed and surprised him, which is impressive when you consider that Geto could predict Yaga's sentences down to the exact word and was able to bait out the entirety of Jujutsu society so he could walk straight into Jujutsu headquarters and have access to Yuta despite Jujutsu High directly considering that as the worst possible scenario. Panda has also been shown to fool Mekamaru, who is both highly intelligent in his own right and the greatest expert on puppets in the verse aside from Yaga himself, completely tricking him into a disadvantageous position by concealing the number and location of his cores. Aside from trickery and cleverness, he was also able to accurately calculate the angle of Mekamaru's cannon immediately and ensure that it wouldn't hit any of his allies. This consistent showing of tactical and analytical intelligence opens up all sorts of possibilities. For example, in an alternate timeline, Panda could have easily learned to create cursed corpses himself and dominated the world, like Skynet from Terminator. Panda isn't a character who only relies on intelligence, however. He's capable of holding his own even against characters on the higher end of the verse. For example, while in base form, which is his slowest, Panda was still able to completely dodge Jogo's meteor, even though he was forbidden from moving until the very last second by Sukuna. We later see that he sustained no lasting damage and was able to continue fighting in the climax of Shibuya. This raw movement speed feat places him well into the grade 1 levels when it comes to speed, especially when you consider Gorilla Mode is even faster. Panda being faster than his grade would imply is consistent when you consider that he's intentionally sandbagged his evaluation to protect his father, and even Geto was surprised by how quickly he was able to intercept him in Jujutsu Kaisen 0. Panda is also a master of cursed energy manipulation, which is showcased when he is able to use cursed energy so precisely that he can effectively disguise the location and number of his cores. Panda even goes as far as to say that his sister core, the Triceratops, kills anyone who even looks at her, implying that Panda has managed to conceal his third core's existence from everyone except Yaga and possibly the other cursed corpses. Panda is constantly underestimated by those around him, even though he is able to create unblockable sonic reverberations with his cursed energy, which is impressive even among other characters with imbued cursed energy properties like Kashimo or Hikari, due to Panda's precise control over it and ability to turn it on or off. Picture how Kashimo would have fared against Hikari if he could turn off his lightning property after he fell into the water. Panda, who we've already established is quite intelligent, especially when it comes to battle IQ, confidently decided to use his sister core against Kashimo after witnessing his immense speed and strength. This indicates that the Triceratops form is far stronger than even the gorilla form, which is consistent when you consider that her form allowed Panda to survive Kashimo's sure-hit lightning attack, which took him by surprise, off guard. The raw attack potency of Kashimo's lightning is immense. He was able to use it to threaten Jackpot Hikari's life several times, and even force Maguna to incarnate to heal himself. Even though we fail to collect much definitive evidence on Panda's sister core, we can conclude that she's at least high grade 1 level due to Panda's confidence, her tanking ability, and how she scales to characters like Hikari. It is quite likely that Yuta or Hikari would also be pushed to the brink of death if they were surprised by Kashimo's lightning while Rika and Jackpot were inactive. Thus, Panda's sister should be at least somewhat relative to Yuta and Hikari in physical stats. Panda's abilities and fighting style allow for an extremely diverse skill set, despite lacking a curse technique. His normal form allows him the option of more reserved and strategic combat tactics, whereas his gorilla form allows him to thrive in situations that require more aggressive and fast-paced combat when he needs to pressure his opponents. And while the exact nature of his sister is still unknown, Panda does seem to use her like a trump card, meaning that when he's in a desperate situation, he still essentially has an equivalent option to something like a domain or max technique. It is truly impressive how many options and different fighting styles Panda can effectively leverage when you consider that he has no unique tools, no curse techniques, and a third of his abilities are unknown even to us as the audience. In conclusion, Panda isn't a verse soloing demon god, but he also isn't complete fodder just because Kashimo speed blitzed him. And I think that Jujutsu Kaisen is a really impressive narrative when you consider that even characters with negative screen time and plot relevance like Panda have so many redeeming qualities and are such a fun time to watch a majority of the time. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and hopefully some of you will walk away from this video with a bit more appreciation for Panda. But either way, I hope you stay safe and take it easy.